Next we go to physical properties of ionic compound. You know what is physical property? Physical property comes under what are the terms we say? Physical property: density and physical state, that means solid, liquid, gas, then melting point, boiling point. This and all comes under physical properties. The first physical property is physical state. Question number 16. Okay, physical state. Ionic compounds are generally solid. What type of state it is? Solid state. Okay, they are solid. Understood? You know that they are, due to electrostatic force or attraction, they stick together to form a ionic compound. Metal, non-metal combine together to form a ionic compound. They are generally solid. And what will happen now? We will go for electricity. Next one is second property is melting and boiling point. Since it has strong electrostatic force of attraction between two atoms, it is very difficult to break. It needs high boiling and high melting point. Reason they will ask you, because of strong electrostatic force of attraction between the atoms or between the ions. Understood? Na plus Cl minus, plus minus attract. That attraction is called electrostatic force. Because of strong force, magnitude of force is very strong. So it is not easy to break the bond. Understood? So you got to say, what is the second question? Melting and boiling. High, it has high melting and due to electrostatic force between the atoms. Okay, are the ions. Understood? Electrostatic force between the atoms. Reason can be asked, so you got to write this. Third point is solubility. Now, do they soluble in water? Yes, they soluble in water, because when you put NaCl in water, the bond between them breaks, electrostatic force is there, and form Na plus Cl minus ion. And water has H plus OH minus ion. When you put this NaCl in water, the water breaks a bond between Na and Cl and form Na plus Cl minus. Already water is a poor conductor. Some ions are present. Few ions are present. And what are the ions in water? There are, last class we studied. Water has two type of ions, H plus and OH minus. This H plus pull the minus ions off from the sodium chloride compound. And OH minus pull the sodium ion, because it is minus charge, it is plus charge. So it pulls. Understood? As soon as you put NaCl, the bond between NaCl is broken by water. So form Na plus Cl minus. And water also already you are having two types of ion, H plus OH minus ion. I am going to rub. Okay, write the notes. Water also having H plus OH minus ion. When you add NaCl, I told you the bond breaks form Na plus Cl. This plus pull this minus ion. This minus pull the plus ions. So they will be, this NaCl will be broken and form ions. And the whole solution is rich in ions. Okay, now what is the question? Solubility. So they is soluble. Everywhere you can see NaCl in the form of ions. Understood? So once again, NaCl, when you put in water, the force between NaCl broken and form Na plus Cl minus ion. And water you are having H plus OH minus ion. This H plus pull the negative charge of this salt, and OH ion pull the positive charge of this salt. And they pull each other, and it remain spread the whole over the solution. Now say, is it soluble? Yes, soluble. Everywhere you can see, it's soluble. Because they pull one another and they remain spread all over the solution. They remain present in all over the solution. They exist in all over the solution. So we can say it is highly soluble in water. Now question is, will they soluble in kerosene or petrol? Will they soluble in kerosene or petrol? Petrol or kerosene, is it soluble? Okay. Kerosene or petrol, will they soluble? NaCl you are putting into the solution of kerosene or petrol. Now, here what happened? Water is having iron. Here they don't form iron. So they cannot pull the NaCl into Na plus or Cl. They cannot break that. Only water can break. I told you water pull it, so it breaks automatically. These ions pull that iron, so it breaks and uniformly spread. And this person, these matters, these substance cannot form or cannot produce ions. They don't have ions. They remain molecules. They don't form ions. So they cannot pull the NaCl. Na plus Cl minus cannot pull. If it is charged, they can pull. Here water is having charge particle plus minus. They pulled each other. Here they don't have iron. The solution is not having iron. Which is solution? That is kerosene. Kerosene substance are not having iron, or petrol is not having iron. So they cannot pull each other. They don't soluble. Finally, NaCl don't soluble in, or ionic compound don't soluble in organic solvent. These are organic compounds. What is organic compound? The substance we get from living nature, that is plants remains or animal remains, etc. Understood? These are organic compound, or so this inorganic compound, that is ionic compound, cannot be dissolved in this organic solvent. It can only dissolve in water. It cannot dissolve in organic solvent. Not dissolved. Okay. This kerosene and petrol, that ionic compound does not dissolve in kerosene and petrol because they don't have iron. Okay, here it dissolves in water because water has iron. So pull each other. Plus minus, minus plus. Like that they pull each other and distribute uniformly throughout the solution. Let us move to next. Conduction of electricity. Okay, you are taking NaCl solution. Solution means you are a solute plus solvent. Water is added. Solution means solute plus solvent. So NaCl solution you are taken. So question is, will they conduct electricity? You are connecting with the battery, circuit you are making with the help of battery, with the help of two rod, electrodes. Digging in. 8th standard you might have studied electrolysis. So question is, will the solution conduct electricity? Yes, it passes electricity because it has ions. So what is the condition for conducting electricity? What is the condition for conducting the electricity in the solution? What is the condition? They should have ions. If the solution has ions, definitely they conduct electricity. Understood? Plus charge move to minus charge. We have studied in electrolysis of water and anodizing of aluminum. There also the same trick is followed. If they have ions, they definitely conduct electricity. Now question is, it is a solid. It is a solid. How do you change it to ion? You can make this ionic compound into ions by following two methods. One is by heating. The other one is by adding water. Under these two conditions, you can change a solid into ion, freely moving ion. Take a salt, NaCl or magnesium chloride salt. heat it, it melts. Melting, process of changing solid to liquid, solid to liquid. Melting, solid to liquid. So solid crystal you are taking in the any vessel, on heating, it melts. It melts, changes solid to liquid. That means the bond between two ions are broken. They remain free mobile ions, freely moving ions. If they are having ions, they definitely conduct electricity. Two conditions they conduct electricity in molten form. This is called molten. On heating, we change a compound into molten form. Melt, no. So it becomes free mobile ions. And second, by adding water also it change into free mobile ions. Question, what is the question? Two way you can change a solid into free mobile ion. Either you add water to the compound, it change into ions, or you heat the compound, it melt and become free mobile ion. So under these two conditions, they are having ions, so they conduct electricity. Question that they ask, is the molten NaCl, does the molten NaCl conduct electricity? Yes, molten NaCl having free mobile ion, so conduct electricity. Okay, NaCl solution conduct electricity or not? Yes, solution means you added water, so conduct electricity. NaCl in kerosene conduct electricity? No, because that solvent does not have, what is that? Ions. So our condition is solvent should have ion, then only they pull each other. Understood? Next. Next question is minerals and more. Oh, it is somewhat difficult. I think you might have understood. Which concept, if you are not feeling it is not clear, you just tell me, I will do the next video. Okay? Which compound or any explanation is required much, you tell me in the next, if you tell me, I will explain in the next video. Okay? Now, next question is 17. That is minerals and ores. There is a vast difference between, not vast, little difference between minerals and ores. Slight difference. Minerals means naturally occurring element or compound. Present in nature. This element and, for example, all the mineral, aluminium or bauxite, this and all we get in the nature. Naturally we get. So naturally obtaining element or compound is called mineral. Naturally occurring compound or elements are called minerals. What is ore then? Ore also similar only, but ore is a mineral from which we extract aluminium. Ore is a mineral from which we extract metal. Bauxite is a ore from which we extract aluminium. So such a mineral is called ore. There are many ores of aluminium. What is ore? It is a compound in which particular metal is present. For example, ore of aluminium is bauxite. And many other aluminium ore is there. Fluorspar, aluminium is present in that. But we say ore, that is fluorspar is not a ore. Bauxite is a ore. Because only we get aluminium from the bauxite, not other ore, other mineral. So all the ores are called mineral, but all the minerals are not called ore. From which mineral we are extracting metals, that mineral, particular mineral is called ore. Now are you clear? All the ores are called mineral, but all the minerals are not called ore, because all the ore we are not extracting metal. We see what are the conditions we see to get metal. The yield will be more, output will be more, and the cost of processing is less. Based on that we select the mineral or we select the ore. Understood? For example, I told you to extract aluminium, which ore only which mineral we prefer? Only bauxite. That is what bauxite is called, ore of aluminium. And a fluorspar mineral we don't. and other compound aluminum is present, but we don't prefer because the process is very costly and the yield is very less. So only which one we prefer? Bauxite. So bauxite is a ore of aluminium. Understood? So minerals means all the naturally occurring element or compound. Ore means minerals from which metals are extracted. Metals are prepared or metals are extracted. Metals are obtained. Understood? Clear? Example I told you, many minerals are there, but what is the ore of copper is a ore. This is the element we get naturally. And NaCl is a ore, compound, this is element, this is a compound. Naturally we are getting. So these are mineral. But here bauxite is a ore because this helps to prepare metal. These all we are not preferring. Only to prepare the aluminium, only particular mineral we are selecting. That particular mineral is called ore. Now clear, no? Next, extraction. How to extract metal from the ore? How to extract metal? There are several principles we got to follow for extracting metal from the ore. You are most familiar about bauxite ore. From the bauxite ore we are preparing aluminium. Formula of bauxite is this is a ore formula, bauxite ore formula. Okay. In which aluminium we extract. Okay. Now listen, it will look like a muddy, that means soil, rock like that, small rock. And from which through many process, finally we get, after many process, finally we get metal. Which metal? Aluminium. So what are the process here involved? First one is concentration. First one is concentration. Of ore. Here I take the example bauxite only because you are much familiar about this. Bauxite, first method to extract the aluminium, they get the ore. That means bauxite they collect from somewhere. And firstly what process they do in the factory? Concentration. What is concentration? Means removal of earthly impurities. Removal of impurities from the ore. They powder the ore, then remove the magnetic particles, they will remove. Many methods are there. That hydrolytic washing is there, and froth flotation is there, magnetic separation is there, leaching is there. These are the methods they follow. Depending upon the ore, nature of the ore, they prefer any of the method in the process of concentration. It is not in the book. So I will tell you concentration, many methods they follow. Depending upon the nature of the ore, they prefer any method like leaching, or they go for magnetic separation or hydrolytic washing. The other one is froth flotation. Like that they follow. Sulfide ore means they prefer froth flotation method. Carbonate ore means they follow hydrolytic method. If magnetic iron ore means they follow magnetic separation. Rest all go for leaching, chemical processing. Understood? It is not there, just keep in mind. But only your topic concentration of ore. What is concentration? Depending upon the nature of ore, they remove the gangue, matrix. What is gangue? Muddy is there, no? When you take 5 rupees coin, suppose you are getting 5 rupee coin, what is there in that around the coin? Soil is present, no? That soil is called gangue, earthly impurities, silicon dioxide. Okay, soil, this is called soil. The ore, gangue is present because we get from earth. Earth's surface it is available. So the ore is having earthly impurities, they remove the impurities. That process is called concentration of ore. The other name is dressing. The other name is dressing of ore. How many methods it follow? Hydrolytic process, magnetic separation, leaching, froth flotation. These are the methods I follow. It is not in your book. Okay, if the ore is heavy, they follow this method. If the ore is light, like a sulfide ore, they follow this method, fourth flotation method. And if the ore is iron particles, rich in iron, they go for this on mantle separation. The rest they go for leaching method. So concentration is over here. They remove by any method. They remove the impurities, earthly impurities. That is gangue, silicon dioxide. Understood? The second method is roasting. Roasting, calcination. If you are getting zinc sulfide, you are going to extract zinc. So the ore is zinc sulfide, zinc blend. If the ore is zinc sulfide, they go for roasting. Roasting means heating the ore in the presence of oxygen. And you will get zinc oxide plus sulfur dioxide, gas will be removed. So finally what you got? Metal oxide. Okay, second step is getting metal oxide. Second step is getting metal oxide by roasting or calcination. There also they see the type of ore. If the ore is sulfide ore, they prefer roasting. If your ore is carbonate ore, now we are going to prepare zinc from zinc carbonate. So what do? You are going for calcination. What is calcination? Heating the ore in the absence of air. Otherwise you can say with a less amount of air. You are heating the ore with a less amount of air, you can say, or absence of air. No air, closing and heating. The container you are taking the ore and cover the ore and you are heating. Understood? In the absence of air, on heating you will get metal oxide, carbonate liberate carbon dioxide gas, no? This one liberate. So both the process you will get zinc oxide, metal oxide. So the main purpose is to get the metal oxide. But two methods are there. If sulfide ore means roasting, carbonate ore means calcination. Carbonate calcination. Remember, carbonate calcination. They will also say two ores from which we prefer calcination method. Name two ores which undergoes calcination process. Any carbonate you write, calcium carbonate, zinc carbonate. Or the two type of ores which goes for, you prefer for roasting. Sulfide ore, single sulfide, mercury sulfide. Okay, you can write anything. So roasting we get metal oxide, we want metal. So what would be the next step? You want to remove the oxygen, no? So that is called reduction. So removal of oxygen is called reduction. So next method is reduction. What will you do in the reduction? Many reducing agents are there. Zinc oxide, carbon is there. So it reduced to zinc plus CO. So you got metal. Understood? And many common reducing agent. Hydrogen is there. Ammonia is there. Okay, these are the common. CO is there. These are all common reducing agent. But zinc oxide you prefer carbon. Okay. So and the next class we study further deep in this. Now formally now today I am explaining general explanation of common explanation of extraction of metal. So first concentration over. Second we get metal oxide through roasting and calcination. Third method reduction. So you will get metal. And the last step is refining. The final everywhere we go for refining. Final 100% to get 100% of purity. To get 100% of pure form of metal, finally we have a touch up with the refining process. Which process? Refining. Okay. Refining this metal, what you got in the above process, you got metal, no? That metal acts as an anode. And it is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, that's what it is anode. And negative terminal, you take one small piece of zinc metal, impure metal. This is impure. What you got here, no? It is impure. And here you small piece of pure form of zinc metal you keep at the cathode. Very careful. What you got is impure form. Now we are going to purify, 100% purification. So what you got, impure form of zinc, you take it as an anode. This word is important, anode. And one small pure form of zinc, take it as a cathode. Because it is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. That's what it is, cathode. Okay, this is positive impure form. Very important here. And it is pure form of zinc, take it as a cathode. Now here electrolyte solution, that means electrolyte. The zinc, anode is zinc. So zinc salt you take zinc sulfate. If it is copper you take copper sulfate. If it is nickel you take nickel sulfate. The same salt. Okay. The salt should be, solution should be same salt of anode. Anode is what, you look at the anode. If it is zinc you take zinc sulfate salt. If it is copper you take copper sulfate salt. If it is nickel you take nickel sulfate. Same iron salt of anode you have to take as electrolyte. Now pause electricity. What will happen now? Anode, cathode. Anode is impure zinc. So metal, anode always oxidation occurs. What is oxidation? Donating electron. We donate 2 electron and become zinc ion. And at anode always oxidation occurs. It is metal. Anode is made up of metal. So metal only react itself. Metal donate electron and I told you metal always donate in ionic form and form ions. If 2 electron donating, so 2 plus ions. The same way here also zinc ion, because it is a solution. So here you have zinc 2 plus SO4 2 minus ions in this. Solution means they will form iron, no? Ionic compound, no? Zinc is a metal. So ions are present. Salt you added to the water, but it will become ions. So what happened? This zinc ion, here also zinc ion is present, and this also changing to zinc ion. This neutral atom, this rod is made of zinc, anode rod. Changing the zinc ion coming to the solution. Okay, so the same zinc ion at cathode reduction occurs. Reduction means क्या है? Taking electron, take 2 electron and become neutral. Because after donation 2 electron less, now gaining 2 electron it become neutral. Now at cathode, this cathode is pure, already it has pure form of zinc. Now zinc ion from the solution is depositing over the cathode. So it will become fatter. It will become thinner because changing to iron, it will become fatter, which will become cathode. Anode become thinner, cathode become thicker as time passes. Why? It will change into iron and come into the solution. And from the solution, zinc ion going and depositing over the cathode. Understood? And the impurities left below the anode, that is called anode mud. What are the impurities? Iron oxide, silicon dioxide, muddy, gangue, matrix. These are impurities because it is impure zinc, you know. Yes or no? So now you at cathode you got pure zinc, and below the anode you get anode mud. That means impurities which were present in this zinc. Now this anode mud is made of impurities like ferric oxide, ferrous oxide, iron oxide, and silicon dioxide, gangue or matrix. Understood? This one I will repeat in the next class. Thank you. Read the chapter thoroughly and write down all the notes. Thank you.